guys, Astrocass here, back with a quick astrology update for the April transits. This one's for my Scorpio rising, so let's jump into it. The sun starts off transiting your Aries 6th house, so this just means that you're shining and people are noticing how well you're doing in the area of your 6th house. So the 6th house is things like pets, work colleagues, the work that you actually do, so the tasks and duties in your workplace, so not your career and reputation, but the actual duties you do every day. It's your routine, it's like housework, it's your health and fitness. So yeah, all of those things fall into that 6th house for you. So people are just really noticing how well you're doing there. You might be feeling really more motivated, confident, because the sun is your ego, it's your confidence, it's your vitality. So you might be doing really well going to the gym or working on your fitness or going to your doctor's appointments. Hopefully you're getting some positive news. Obviously it does depend on your natal chart and transits activating that natal chart. So the sun being our ego and you know, confidence, obviously, you know, with a transit that's a little bit more harsh to our natal planets, it can be things like a lack of confidence or you know, poor health, those sorts of things. So definitely keep an eye on that, and if you want some support, definitely my information is below. Reach out and let me know if you've got any questions or if you like a reading or need any support. On the 21st of April, the sun will then start to transit your Taurus 7th house. So this is again just when you're going to be shining and people are taking notice of how well you're doing in regards to your close one-on-one relationships. So this can be a romantic relationship, marriage partner, it can be a business partnership, it can be close friendships, close one-on-one friendships, close family member relationships, one-on-one relationships with like your clients and stuff like that if you guys are quite close. It can also be like legal events and contracts and stuff like that. So the sun transiting through there can just show that you're really shining in those areas, or you're feeling really confident, your ego is being boosted by those things, or on the negative side, you know, feeling a lack of confidence or a bit you know, unsure about some of those things. Then Mercury, the planet of communication, news, learning and our thoughts, starts off transiting your Aquarius 4th house. So what this means, it starts off transiting your Aries 6th house, so same as the sun. What this means is that you're just thinking a lot more, communicating a lot more about those 6th house topics. So there could even be some big news around some of these 6th house topics for you. So this is things like, as I mentioned before, pets, co-workers, health and fitness, like your daily routine, the tasks and duties and stuff like that that you do at work. So again, with Mercury transiting through there, you're just thinking about these things, or you're communicating more about these things. Maybe your routine at the moment isn't going so well and it's really out of balance, and you really need to sit down and actually think it out and write down what you're going to do for the month, what days you need to do what. Get a bit of a calendar or a diary and put these things down, especially if you're quite busy and your routine's like all over the place. You know, you've got kids to pick up, you've got work to do, you know, you need to do things for your partner, and it's just really hectic and you can't manage it all. Something needs to change in your routine. So, you know, you're thinking about how can I be more organized, what's my priorities, those sorts of things. Maybe you can talk to your partner about these things more. On a different note, it can be work related. So, you know, maybe with the tasks and the duties that you're doing at work, you're actually communicating more or signing contracts or doing a lot of paperwork, more socializing, those sorts of things. You might even be having to do some form of like media or public speaking for work. Or it could be some big news about your health and fitness for the gym, or just more thinking about your health and fitness and how you can improve it or how well it's doing. So it can be a really interesting transit. And then on the 12th of April, Mercury will move into your 7th house and start transiting that 7th house. So this just means that you're thinking a lot more and communicating more about your close one-on-one relationships. Like I mentioned before, it can be a romantic partner, marriage partner, business partner, close friendships, close family members, close clients that you relate to. It can be contracts being signed, all sorts of different contracts, can be legal situations sometimes. So they're all 7th house topics, so keep an eye on that. Then you've got Venus, the planet of love, romance and money. That starts off transiting your Aquarius 4th house. So that's just when you're really enjoying time with your family and at home. You might be just really able to kind of relax and find a lot of pleasure at home. Because it is money as well, sometimes you can be making money or losing money with this transit. So you could be selling a house and getting, you know, money from that, or maybe you're having to spend money on renovating your house and doing it up, or it can be losing money due to family or gaining money due to family. So, you know, spending more money on your children, or your mum or your dad, or, you know, some type of inheritance, any of those things. So anything to do with the home or your family ancestry, you're either spending money, gaining money, or you're just enjoying and finding pleasure in the comfort of your family or the comfort of your private home, and being more of a homebody for that transit. Then on the 6th of April, it'll move into your Pisces 5th house and start to transit your 5th house. So this is just when you're going to be really enjoying and finding a lot of pleasure and love and just romance in things like creativity, children, any children, your own children, other people's children, and it's also dating and risk-taking and just fun and pleasure. So it's a really great transit with that Venus going through that 5th house that really enjoys it. It can mean, you know, you might meet a romantic partner, start dating the right person or a person. Yeah, it's just bringing a lot of connections with relationships and potentially love and pleasure there for you. Again, it can be to do with money. So if you've got any creative projects, you could be spending money, making money, losing money. Again, the same relates to your children. You might be spending more money on them than what you usually do. Maybe your child's just turned 16, you're buying them a car. Maybe, you know, they're graduating from university and you're buying them like a gift or something, or maybe you're spending more money on them for schooling or classes or something like that. So yeah, either making money or losing money through your children, or maybe, you know, some people that have strong natal planets in their 5th house, when transits happen through this 5th house, you know, sometimes they can make or create things to do with children. So it's that creativity element plus the element of children. So, you know, some people write children's books, or they, you know, like Disney and all those sorts of things. Anything where it's like you're creative, but you're also dealing with children. Clothing, like, I mean, anything creative, painting. So yeah, just keep all that in mind with that transit. Then you've got Mars, the planet of action, passion, aggression, war. It's what we're fighting for and fighting with. That starts off transiting your 4th house, so that Aquarius 4th house again. So Mars is just bringing a lot of tension and focus and passion into your home, your family, and your ancestry. So, you know, for some people, they might be more motivated to do stuff around the house, like maybe there's renovations or there's things that needs to be fixed up, and Mars is giving you that energy to take action and get those things done. Maybe you've got to put your house on the market and sell it or something like that. Mars is going to give you that energy, hopefully, to get things done and give you that motivation. Maybe if you've been a little bit too busy and you haven't been spending enough time with your actual family members, Mars will bring some kind of conflict up, or it might bring some desire, motivation to actually spend time with them or fix something there. Because yeah, on a good note, you know, the higher octave Mars is, you know, action, passion and drive. On the lower end, it's more conflict, drama and anger. So yeah, it can go either way. So yeah, just keep that in mind with your home and family, that transit can, you know, trigger some of those things. And then on the 16th of April, Mars then moves into your Pisces 5th house. So again, as I was saying before, 5th house is things like creativity, children, dating, romance, risk-taking. It's just a lot of fun. And Mars is all about that action, passion and desire. So, you know, with this transit, you might be feeling more inspired to do work on your creative projects. You might have a lot of more energy and time to spend with your children, play with them, have fun with them, or focus on them. Mars can sometimes be sex, so intimacy can happen, you know, dating. You might be putting a lot more energy into like going on dates, finding the right person, or maybe there's just this transit can just bring some really good sex or just a lot of sex, and you know, that can come up as well. But obviously it can be you know, conflict and stuff like that as well. So sometimes, depending on your natal chart, maybe there can be conflict or drama with dating and with different relationships that you've got going on. So usually the 5th house is like dating, it's when you first meet someone. The 7th house more like when you've committed to someone, you're in a serious relationship, you move to that like moving in stage, getting married stage, those sorts of things. And then the 8th house is like, you know, more of that deeper bonding where you open up about the things that nobody else knows about. So yeah, the 5th, 7th and 8th house are really important for relationships, especially romantic or marriage relationships. So yeah, Mars going through there can be a positive thing or a negative thing depending on your chart. Just keeping in mind though that the planets give us the energy, they give us a bit of a map and they show us, you know, what's happening. So as above, so below. However, we've always got free will. We choose how we react and we choose how we use that energy. So even with the toughest energy out there and the most negative energy, if you know what it's about and you're self-aware and you can see things, you know, transits and stuff like that that are coming up, you can handle them a lot better, you can work with it. So, you know, for example, let's just give you a bit of an example here. So say Mars is transiting that 5th house and it's, you know, squaring your natal sun or something like that. You know, that could potentially show, you know, things happening in like a relationship where like you're dating or you're seeing someone, maybe being intimate with someone that you've just started seeing, and it's causing a bit of tension or conflict with your sun, which is your vitality, your ego and your confidence. So maybe they're not treating you very well, maybe they're ignoring your messages, maybe they're making you feel like you don't matter, maybe they're dating other people as well as you. That's impacting your confidence, which is your sun, and that's showing that square, that tension there. So that can be quite hard. But then if you've also say got Jupiter sending a trine to that sun, and Jupiter's over in, you know, your 11th house or like whatever house really to make a trine to that sun for you, then potentially you're going to get positive gifts and benefits and abundance and happiness and joy from that Jupiter house, wherever Jupiter is. So it's in the house of friendships, like your friends, that's the 11th house. If it's in, you know, your 9th house, it's your beliefs, it's your spirituality, religion, it's travel. But whatever house that Jupiter in, sending a trine to that sun is going to give it a bit more of a boost, a bit of positive energy. So you can focus on the positive aspects going to that sun. So you know, you can try and focus on them more than letting that Mars square to your sun impact you. So it's about focusing on those energies. And another little tip is the fact that if you look at the opposite house, so the opposite to the 5th house, you can also find a way to balance out that energy. So with your 5th house, if you look to the house that's completely opposite, so the 5th house being Pisces, that Aquarius would be opposite there. Aries is opposite there. So if you bring more of that Aries energy and then that Aries house into it, again, that will kind of help balance out that energy for you. Now, I kind of talked about that for a really long time, but I just thought, you know, it'd be helpful to give you guys a little bit more information. There's another thing I want to quickly have a chat about, which is the Neptune and Jupiter conjunction in Pisces in your 5th house on the 11th of April in Australian time. So this is a once in a lifetime event. Everyone that's alive now has never seen this conjunction between Neptune and Jupiter in Pisces. Jupiter and Neptune do conjunct other times and other signs. I think like every 12 years or so they'll make a conjunction. But this is the first time since like the mid 1800s, like 1854 or something like that, where Jupiter and Neptune have conjunct in Pisces, and it's a sign that they rule. So Neptune is the modern ruler of Pisces, and Jupiter is the traditional ruler. So it's a very powerful energy. So think spirituality, think you know, compassion and being of service to people, helping others. It's very, very dreamy. It's illusions, delusions, it's fantasies, it's rose-colored glasses, it's putting people on a pedestal. It's addictions, you know, it's substance abuse, it's pretty big energy, and it's really interesting to see how it's going to play out globally, but also on an individual level with people and how it's playing out in their charts. So, you know, this happening in your 5th house, people could be having, you know, children, especially ones that they've been really wanting, you know, and working for a long time, or trying really hard to have. Or they might have a spark with their creativity, especially like Pisces can be all about music and poetry and stuff like that as well. And the 5th house is about creativity. So think a lot of romantic, dreamy, you know, music or artwork or writing, anything creative that's going to come out of this. It could be a really big time for you. So really interested to see what happens there for you. You then have a new moon on April 1st occurring in your Aries 6th house at 5:24 p.m. at about 11 to 12 degrees. So new moons are all about beginnings, new cycles, new things starting for you. Your Aries 6th house, this is going to be about your routine. It can be about your work duties, health, fitness, those sorts of things. So expect some changes around there. And that'll happen, you know, anytime from when that full moon, the new moon happens, to when, you know, 3 months time or so. Like the energy lasts for a couple of months there. So you'll see some events begin to unfold. Then you've got a full moon on April 17th in your Libra 12th house. This is at 4:55 a.m, roughly 27 degrees. So full moons are ending, cycles being completed. If you have a look back to when your last Libra new moon happened, that would have been kickstarting some of these events and topics off. With the full moon, it's bringing it to a completion and end. 12th house is institutions, so thinking hospitals, prisons, mental health wards, spiritual retreats. It's spirituality, it's isolation, it's withdrawal, it's transcendence, it's enemies, it's you know, a really hard house because it's, you know, a house that the native can't see, which is us. So things that are happening there can be quite challenging, but it's a great time for, you know, meditating, spending more time alone, really getting to know who you are, any kind of spiritual practice. And it doesn't have to be anything too crazy, you know, just meditating or spending time with yourself, journaling, doing shadow work, any kind of occult practices, just being out in nature a bit more, you know, by yourself. All those sorts of things can be really helpful. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, comment below with some information that you enjoyed or things that, you know, have kind of resonated for you. Don't forget to give me a like and subscribe to miss any of my future content. Bye!